Okay, so like I just came out with the idea for this video just now, right? Like how most videos on my channels go. Because I realized actually this whole time. Oh yeah, by the way, hi, my name is Miaw. Yeah, whatever. You already know who I am. And if you don't know who I am, you really don't care. So hi. Because I realized on this channel, even though I make videos about Christian metal. Wait, my curtain is open. I'm going to close the curtain. Don't want no one seeing me talk to myself. I realized on this channel, I never ever, I don't think I've ever said how I found out about Christian metal. And then so just now I was just thinking about that, and then I was like, I think I should make a video. And I think Metal 777, the curtain is still open. I have to close it again. I think Metal 777 also made a video about that recently, like a little while ago, about how he got into Christian metal. I'm not copying, okay, Isaac. I thought about this idea and then I realized, oh yeah, Metal 777. Oh, can we just call him? Can we just call him something? It's so hard to say. Let's just call him the 7, okay? I was like, oh, the 7 also made a video like that, so yeah. You know, it makes a lot of sense for me to say how I got into Christian metal, considering that I've never said it before, because I also never think about it. On this night, I don't even know what time, is it like 9-10 p.m.-ish? Have my dinner and have dinner with me while I tell you how I got into Christian metal, because to be honest, I also think I forgot how already, so this will be refreshing my memory. Why is it so good? Why is Milo so good, dude? So this is my first time making a grilled cheese in a long time. As you can see, this is grilled cheese by the way, as you can see by how I burned it, but it was so much fun. I hadn't cooked in months because when I was staying in the hostel before, yeah, by the way, before we get to the actual story, I have to talk a bit about my day, even though you don't care, right? So skip ahead if you want, but if you just want to hear me talk, then listen, okay? It's my channel, I can do whatever I want. I'll tell you about my grilled cheese if I want to. I haven't cooked in months. And when I say months, I mean months, okay? Because in the hostel where I was staying before this, there are rules, and one of the rules is that you cannot cook. But of course, we all go against the rules, and then what happened? My cooker got confiscated. And I just got it back today. Like, I went back to get it today, and I have to pay a fee. Anyway, so I got it today, and I'm so happy because now in this new house we can cook. And today was my first time cooking, and I cooked rice for dinner, for lunch. And that was a reminder of why I can only I can eat what I cook. Let me just tell you that. You know, I don't have to tell you how bad the food was. The fact that I tell you only I can eat what I cook should already tell you. I mean, it's not bad lah. To me, no food is actually bad. It's just that I tasted it, I was like, But yeah, anyway, so I'm gonna eat my dinner now and talk to you. Usually I use 2 cheese in a sandwich, but I'm on a budget. I'm a student, so yeah. You know, all these things never used to matter before I went to university. You know, last time how you just stay with your family, they buy groceries, you know, you can just ask them to buy whatever you want. Oh, ma, can you buy me milk or something, right? And then when you actually grow up and then you go to university and you have to get your groceries for yourself, and then that's when you actually start to save on the amount of cheese you put in your sandwich, because cheese is actually damn expensive, man. That is burnt. The burnness hit before the cheese. That's how burnt it is. That's my dinner, I guess. Hey, very fun. Come closer. I guess I'll just start at the beginning. Where is the beginning? I don't know. I did not plan this video. Do I ever think about how I got into Christian metal? No. I've always kind of been into heavier music, I guess, but I didn't realize. Like, I've always been into rock music. And the pop music that I did listen to when I was like in primary school was mostly oldies. Because the thing is, right, I grew up, my mom was always traveling, because my mom is a single mom, by the way, so she was like always traveling and working, and then so sometimes I didn't really like she wasn't really the one who raised me all the time. It was mostly my grandma. My grandma was always with me, and then my grandma would always have a radio. I used to call it her best friend, because it's Sumbuk's best friend, I always say. She always had this radio with her. So growing up, around the house was always the music from the radio lah. And of course, being my grandma, she's not listening to like Hits FM, okay? She's listening to like Light FM, which I don't know, if you're Malaysian, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not Malaysian, basically Light FM is more of the like oldies kind of channel. It's not like the popular music. So, you know, in primary school, I would always hear that lah every day. So eventually, the only pop music I really listened to was that. and a bit of Taylor Swift, of course, but like, yeah, maybe like there was like a little bit of Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, you know, the common classics when we were 2000s kids, right, those pop icons. But mostly it was oldies. And rock music, I think my brother got me into it when I was around 8 or 9 years old. He got me into Linkin Park. I don't even remember how, but I know it was because my brother. And so Linkin Park was my favorite band. I love Linkin Park ever since I was like 8 or 9 years old. So that was actually my gateway into rock music. And I was a little bit of like Nickelback. I think that I listened to a bit of Muse, Green Day, of course. And somewhere along the way I got into Avenged Sevenfold. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but Linkin Park and Avenged Sevenfold were my two loves until I was like 15, you know. Basically Linkin Park actually got me into rock, and Avenged Sevenfold was the one to get me into metal. I don't know if I've ever said that, but yeah. Avenged Sevenfold, I'm still a fan. I still keep up with it. They haven't released new music in a while, but I still listen to them sometimes. Not as much as I used to. I kind of miss it. Those two will always like be, you know, like those two bands that got you into something. They'll always be like special to you, right? It's Linkin Park and Avenged Sevenfold. Actually, I just got done watching a podcast with one of the members of Avenged Sevenfold. He has a podcast called Drinks with Johnny. So yeah, I'm still a fan. I still keep up with them. I did grow up listening to mostly heavy music, even though at first I didn't really realize it. But yeah, as I grew up, and you know what, there was some comments, you know, from people, because growing up as a Christian, listen to heavy music, you know what you're gonna get. So of course there would be, I think even my mom didn't really agree with it for me. She was never, the thing with my mom that I really like, honestly, this is sudden appreciation for my mom, right, in this video. She was never one of those Christian parents who told me not to do something. And this could be a whole other topic for another video, because I really think this did shape how I found my faith in God. My mom never ever told me, don't listen to this kind of music, don't watch this kind of movies. You know, she never told me that. And I saw that happen with some of my other Christian friends. Their parents would do that. One of my friends also, her parents would say, don't listen to worldly music, you know. And you know, some of my friends, they only listen to Christian music because their parents told them stay away from worldly music, that kind of thing, you know. But with my mom, was never like that. But I think she did voice her. I think it was just jarring to her, because honestly, my mom also likes rock music, so maybe that's why she was also a bit more open to it lah. But yeah, she did maybe voice it a few times, like, you know. But I think that was because it was jarring to her, because it was like screaming. When I was going more into the heavier stuff, right? How I got even deeper into metal was actually when I was 15. There was this event online. It was the award show, or metal award show. It was called Loudwire Music Awards. If you guys don't know what Loudwire, I don't know how to explain it. It's one of those like online sites that support. Okay, think of like, if you listen to Christian metal, think of like Kingdom Core. It's that kind of thing, but for metal. Okay? I mean, if you just search it up, Loudwire, you will get it. So I used to follow Loudwire a lot on YouTube, Instagram, you know, they would post like news about metal and like interviews and stuff like that, updates, you know. It's that kind of site thing, right? So they had the award show, and then it was live while it was live. I was at school, so I couldn't watch it. So I came back home and then I watched it, like the replay, you know. That's actually how I got deep into metal. That's how I found the Iron Maidens. Also, I watched it because Avenged Sevenfold was headlining. If they were not headlining, I wouldn't have watched. But that's the main reason I watched, and then suddenly I got into all the Beastmen. But anyway, long story short, where was I just now? Oh, I was on the topic of Christians. Yeah. So sometimes I would get some of my friends also, and I don't blame them, but at that time it was kind of annoying. But now looking back, I understand that they also didn't know. It's so cold now. Some of my friends who are in my Christian circle, they would say, you know, don't listen to that, you know, the normal stuff. That would get kind of annoying, but I never stopped, honestly. I think there was always a part of me that was always like, nah, that can't be right, you know. Even though at that time I didn't really have a strong foundation for my faith last time, as I do now, so I wouldn't really have an explanation. I wouldn't know how to explain why I think it's okay to listen to heavy music and still be a Christian. But there was also still a part of me that just knew that it's not really right to label a whole genre of music satanic just because it's heavy, kind of thing. I think I've always kind of knew that. That's why I just continued. And of course there were comments, and it did get annoying. But I remember there was this one priest in my church, Reverend Kelvin, legend. he used to teach confirmation. He was like the, no, he's not the youth pastor, but I don't know. He used to teach confirmation class, and I was in his confirmation class, and then he mentioned that he liked Metallica, and I was like, like, huh? You know, like this. There's a priest in the church, and he likes heavy music. So that's also part of. I thought he was so cool. Dude, God, that's still the coolest. You're a cool priest, okay? It's actually not that fun. How do people do this? How do people do the kind of video where they like eat and do a Q&A kind of thing? It's not fun. I'd rather just eat or just stop. Milo. So yeah, anyway, I should cut the long story short. So I've been into heavy music ever since I was a kid, and it continued with me. And you know, there's always something so appealing. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. But there was always something so appealing about it to me. So anyway, how I found Christian metal. I never heard of it before. Never knew it was a thing. Because like I said, you know, there was always this view on like heavy music is like this. Heavy music is the devil's music kind of thing, right? So of course it would never come to my mind that there is such thing as Christian metal. Are you kidding me? No way. No way. I believe I first came into contact with Christian metal through this genre called unblack metal. It's basically black metal but Christian black metal, and sometimes people call it unblack metal. I think that's how. Because I can't really remember. It was probably when I was like in Form 4 or Form 5, 16 or 17 years old. Again, I don't really remember how. I think I was on YouTube. At that time, I've always liked black metal, like the little bit of black metal that I did listen to. I don't think it was the old school black metal. I think it was more of like, I remember Behemoth. Everyone knows that band, so I don't have to. But yeah, I'm sure you know them. They're like one of the biggest bands in black metal, right? And I remember just a little bit of things I listened to them last time, and I thought I liked it. Like I actually thought their music was good. But I remember that time I was so disappointed. Like, I can't listen to it. I don't want to listen to it because it's satanic, right? It's obviously satanic. And honestly, I don't know how, but I somehow came across this unblack metal song. It's by a band called Divine Symphony, and it is still actually my favorite song. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. It's actually my favorite song. The song is called Martyrs by Divine Symphony. And I listened to it, I was like, this is cool. Like, there is Christian black metal and it's good. What? So yeah, I think that is actually my first ever. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's the one. That's the furthest one I can remember. But I think so. But it's not like I got into Christian metal after that. So it was Divine Symphony, and then I also found another one, this other band called Slashed Folk. Not really sure how to say it, but yeah. So basically, Christian black metal was actually my first step into Christian metal, but it wasn't the gateway into it. I think it was just like a one-off thing. Like I kind of found out about it. Oh, this is cool. There's such thing as Christian black metal, and then I didn't really do much with that. How I got into it was, I think, a few years later, around the pandemic. So it was around like 2020, 2021-ish is where I started to get into the other, like some other genres of metal. Like I remember I started to get into metalcore, deathcore, and I was going more into like the more underground genres. I think somehow along the way, I don't even remember how. Somewhere there is where I found Christian metal. So like I remember in 2021, I started to get into Whitechapel, As I Lay Dying, some of the bands. And somewhere along the way after that, after I went into the more like underground genres, I guess, I found Christian metal. Look how burnt. And honestly, my memory from here on out is very blurry. I'm so sorry I can't give you like a clear timeline or whatever. But I remember at some point I came across Kingdom Core. I came across Pastor Rob. Yeah, I just thought Pastor Rob was so cool. Like he's a pastor reacting to heavy music, and I thought it was cool, so I got into that. Kingdom Core at the time, they used to be called Aggressive Worshippers actually. And I remember I found the page and I thought, oh, this is so cool, right? I think I started to find some songs or some bands from that page back when it was called Aggressive Worshippers. But then after that, I lost a page because they changed their name and I didn't know, and I don't think I was active on Instagram. At some point I got off Instagram or something, so I could never find it after that. And I remember I was so disappointed, like, oh, I thought there was this page called Aggressive Worshippers, but now they're gone. And then later on, like months later, in like 2021, I think is where I found Pastor Rob's channel. I think that's where I found it. And in one of his videos, he talked about Kingdom Core. When I was watching the video and he was talking about that, and he said they used to be called Aggressive Worshippers. And then I quickly went to find Kingdom Core, and I'm like, oh, this is where they went. So like I followed them again, and Kingdom Core was one of my, where I found a lot of bands. And honestly, that's where my memory stops. Like I think Impending Doom. Oh, I remember at some point I came across Demon Hunter, but it was not from Kingdom Core. It's not from any Christian site. It was actually so random. It was from Twitter. When I used to use Twitter a lot, I think there was like a tweet about metal or something, or about bands. I think it was a Loudwire tweet about bands, 60 bands, a lot of bands are gonna release albums this year, something like that. And then one of the replies to the tweet, someone said they can't wait for Demon Hunter's album. And then I was like, ooh, Demon Hunter, that sounds like a interesting name. For some reason I thought that they were gonna be a satanic band. So weird. Demon Hunter is literally the most Christian name, but I thought it was gonna be satanic. But then I searched it up and I was like, oh, this is actually Christian. But I did not like Demon Hunter at first. Like, I remember I listened to the song I Will Fail You. I don't think I even listened to the whole thing. I was like, oh, bye. I did not like it. I was like, oh, this is not for me. I don't know why. I don't know why. Because now I love Demon Hunter. But yeah, it was kind of like a one-off thing with Demon Hunter. I was like, I don't like this. And then at some point I came across Impending Doom, and I was like, oh, this this is what I like. So Murderer was the first ever song I heard from Impending Doom. It was probably one of the first songs to ever like actually get me into Christian metal. So Impending Doom, you're the best. Yeah, as far as I can remember, the first few Christian metal. Oh yeah, later on I did come back to Demon Hunter and I did actually get into them. I was like, oh, so weird. Why didn't I like them before, right? So yeah, like the first few Christian metal bands I got into was around 2021. Was like Impending Doom, Demon Hunter, Earth Groans. I used to listen to Earth Groans. American Arson was also another one I found from Kingdom Core. I haven't listened to them in a while. But I remember Earth Groans also I found from Kingdom Core. And yeah, that's as much as I can remember, I think. And I think after that, it's so weird that I can't remember these things. Or like you can't remember these things because like it's just, you don't remember the timeline, right? When you get into something. And whereas I was just getting when I was getting more into Christian metal and like just getting into it, I made this video about reacting to Christian bands that I never heard of because I was like, oh, I want to get more into this. And then ever since then, Metal Monday became a thing. And yeah, the rest is history. And then now I'm a big fan of Christian metal. So yeah, that's the story. I'm sorry if it's not as interesting. I'm sorry if it's not as detailed. There was not like this aha moment of like, you know, like I don't remember most of it. Like it's just something that kind of happened. It's kind of foggy in my brain. Yeah, that's how I got into Christian metal. I'm very, very grateful, very blessed. I'm very blessed that I found it, and I wish more people knew about it, and more people who like heavy music knew about it, especially Christians, because, you know, like maybe you want to listen to heavy metal, but you also want to listen to Christian music, but like you don't know there's the existence of both in one. So there is the existence of both in one. Just saying, it's so cool. I wish more people knew about it. And you know what, as I grow up, I realized the stereotype of metal music being the devil's music has actually gone down. Or is it just me? Because I don't really hear people saying it like that anymore. Maybe just because I haven't been around that circle of people in a long time. But I remember when I was younger, it was more of a thing to say that Christians shouldn't listen to heavy music. But I feel like now people are more open-minded or anything. But yeah, I'm glad that if it has gone down, because honestly, I will always defend Christian metal. I will always defend it, no matter what people say. Because I think I stick to my point that, I mean, there are a lot of reasons why you would defend Christian metal, right? And I think Josiah Nonkiss made a video about that, and that was a good video. But for me, honestly, if I would just simplify it, right? Why is my hair like this? But if I would just simplify everything into one, it's just plain unfair to label a whole genre of music satanic just because it's heavy or it sounds scary. Because I understand to an outsider that it can sound scary, or you don't get it, or it just sounds so loud and noisy. I get it actually. I understand why people would think like that, but it's just unfair. Like, I don't see why it should be labeled as that. And I'm not saying that there are no satanic bands, I'm just saying that there are a lot of people who want to glorify God and they want to make this kind of music. Does it mean that they are not glorifying God just because they're making loud music? You know, they're still reaching someone, they're still using their talents to glorify God, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's amazing. And I'm not just talking about the Christian bands, I'm also talking about the secular bands. Like, there are some people out there who just want to make music. Like, sometimes I'll listen to a band and they're not pushing anything, they're not pushing any belief, they're not pushing any belief in Satan, they're not pushing atheism, they're not pushing anything. They're just literally a bunch of people who want to write music and want to make music, and it happens to be heavy music. And I don't think it's even fair to group them in being satanic just because they're just a bunch of people who are not Christians, but they also want to make music. And there's some secular bands out there who just want to make music. It's fine. Like, I just think it's kind of mean. It's kind of mean to say that someone is evil just because they're making this scary music or heavy music. So yeah, I'm gonna go now and finish my dinner, okay, because you interrupted. And this time I'll make sure not to burn the bread again when I make this again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't know, this video was all over the place. I feel like I didn't tell a coherent story. But then again, when you talk about things like this, you don't really remember a lot of it. You don't really remember details. So yeah, but I'm so glad I made this. Let me know down below how you are into Christian metal, because I would love to hear more stories on this. Like, the most random one is I found Demon Hunter from a tweet. Like, hi, my name is Miaw. I make videos related to Christian metal and just anything in general, as long as it glorifies God. I also vlog my life and I do whatever. And I also have a music channel where I write original songs, upload original songs, and I upload covers. And I also make Metal Mondays, which is the most main thing of this channel. Is I react to Christian metal and I analyze it, and I just want to spread the gospel through this channel, you know. And yeah, and I love metal, and I love that's how I can do it. I love that's how I can hold down grammar. So yeah, anyway, you can also just suggest down below any bands, any songs you want me to react to, and I will get to that. And I'm so glad you watched this video, and I will see you in the next video. That is the nicest I've been to you in a while. You should have seen the scolding I gave you in the previous video. Yeah, so yeah, bye bye. Love you. God bless your day, your week, your month, your year, your life. God bless you and your families, and don't forget the Lord Jesus Christ loves you very much. One last time.